We've got highlights from a blowout in Bismarck and an invitational at home. I'm Carla Metz, and welcome to Augustana All Access. There were several wins across the board this week, but we'll start the show with highlights from the shutout in Bismarck, North Dakota. The Augustana football team got their second win of the season against the University of Mary, getting their first touchdown halfway through the first. Trey Hyde completes a pass to wide receiver Nathan Merriam, and this 13-yard catch would give the junior his first career touchdown. Second quarter now, and this is where things start to heat up for the Vikings offense. The Vikings go 72 yards in just 5 plays, with Hyde completing a 43-yard touchdown pass to Trevor DeShepard. And then just a little over 3 minutes later, Jackie Davis gets another score on a 5-yard run, one of 3 touchdowns for the running back that day. Still the second quarter, up 21-0 when Matt Heller catches this 16-yard pass to cap off a 5-play series. And another score before the half would make it 35-zip at the break. Already 42-0 here with 3:31 left in the third. Augustana is able to take advantage of some great field position. Hyde completes a 12-yard pass to Nate Winter, and Davis would finish it off on an 8-yard run. Total time of possession for this drive, just 22 seconds. Augie would start the fourth quarter with 7 and end it that very same way. Here's wide receiver DJ Luke's first career touchdown. He'd finish the day with 14 rushes for 64 yards, helping Augie get their second straight shutout against UMary, 63-0.
You can't get much easier than having the ball on the other side of the 50. I think our first 3 or 4 possessions, that's anytime we can have that, we're going to be successful regardless, I think. And they did a great job all day, 3 and out all the time.
It was whenever you could see the guys just getting hyped. That's what we live for. We live for the fun of the football game. In this game, we had fun. We flew around, we hit some people. They're a solid football team, but we came out and we were just fast and physical.
Coming in, that was kind of the big question mark on us, was since CJ graduating and Justin leaving as well, kind of big question mark on our position if we were going to be able to carry the load on our backs as well and do our job. And I think the first 2 games have kind of proven that we're here to play, and regardless of CJ graduating and Justin, that we're here and we're going to step up and do our job as well in this offense.
You never go in there guessing that I don't know if it was 4 or 5 different guys catch touchdowns, but it's just kind of going through our reads, guys doing their jobs, and kind of see what happens.
They did a fantastic job. I almost didn't even know where to go right away because there were so many holes. The guys, I didn't expect they'd be there, and they were there. And so I kind of just did what I could get downhill, but they made my job super easy today.
Up next, we're going to look at the turning point in this past weekend's game. But before we do, let's take a look at the Vikings Vote question of the week. This week highlights Vikings soccer by asking how long it's been since a Vikings soccer player has scored during their collegiate debut. Take a look at the choices here, and we'll have the correct answer for you a little later.
Augustana All Access on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and Classic Import.
Welcome back to Augustana All Access. It's time to talk turning points with Coach O. And Coach, this was a very dominant victory for the Augustana football team, 63-0. Your second straight shutout against the University of Mary. And one thing I guess that really stood out to me, at least kind of looking over this game, is that we got to see a lot from players that maybe we don't normally see. So maybe out of those players that we kind of put up stats this weekend, whose performance impressed you the most?
Out of the guys that aren't normal starters.
Yep.
I think that all of our young receiving core played really well. I would also throw in our young secondary and our young linebackers in that mix. 5 guys that never scored a college touchdown scored on Saturday, and that's an exciting thing. When you remember your first one, and I told them all, I hope there's many more. Most of those kids are redshirt freshmen, so that's an exciting day offensively for those guys to get that opportunity, and defensively to stay at that level. We gave up 85 yards on the day. That's an impressive performance, but there was no drop-off or significant drop-off in yardage given when we put in those 2s and 3s. So everybody that got on the bus played, and that's an important part. So kudos to the starters and the 2s that came in and did their job. So that the others could get the opportunity to perform. Those young players are our future, and they need to get better.
Right, and give your starters some breaks.
Mm-hmm.
As far as turning points go for this game, a lot of positives, really. The second quarter is what I really want to focus on, because really that's kind of the quarter we could call a turning point, 28 points. So what was clicking for the offense during that quarter?
Well, I think on the day we had 8 3-and-outs defensively. It starts there. Our defense got off the field, forced them into some third and long situations, and created field position that were short fields, in those first ones for sure. And I believe in the second quarter, 3 of those were on short fields, inside the 50. And we love that field offensively to be able to have to go less than 50 yards for a score. I think that was a big part of it, was the two sides of the ball complementing one another. And I think we punted once on the day. So those things all culminate, Carla, into a good performance. But when you look at that second quarter, especially against an option team, if you can get ahead and force them to start wanting to do things maybe that they didn't plan going into, it's going to work well for you.
And what really makes the option so difficult to defend?
It's responsibility football. It's 11-on-11 football. We're really, and I've coached against some really good ones over the years, that if you don't do your job, then bad things can happen.
Right.
And I thought that Coach Bergstrom and our defensive staff really did a great job, and a perfect week for it, because we didn't play that well the week one overall. Some great things to address, and I thought we really addressed the ball better. Our leverage was better. We tackled a lot better, and our pad level was better. You put those 3 things together, and you have a dominant defensive performance. So option makes it tough when they know their assignments and they know the rules, and if you're not in the right gap, an inside dive can go for 50 in a score. So I was really proud of our kids that they took their discipline to matter today.
Yeah, a great game for them, and really a positive toward the team. Another thing that I noticed too, a relatively clean game, no fumbles, just 3 penalties I think, and then 1 interception, but that was even late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So how important is it for you as a coach to see a clean game from your team so early in the season?
Well, that's a great point. We wanted to play efficient football. We didn't the week previous, and again, this is about the journey. This is a marathon, not a sprint. We want to get better every week of the season, and in that game there was a prime example of the fact that value the football, put it in good positions, give ourselves third and operational, that's a distance that we can manage, and defensively get off the field on money down. Get off the field and get the ball over to the other side. When we do that, we're pretty good. The one interception we had, Chase's arm gets hit as he's throwing it, and it drops in a D lineman's arms. That's one of those things, that's football. But only 4 penalties on the day. I thought we played a really clean, efficient game, and I'm glad you noticed that, because it was a point of emphasis for us, and we're going to have to do that as we go forward if we're going to compete.
Right, especially because you did see your second and third string in there. That's really important. Another ongoing theme, really, just for the Augustana offense, it's going to probably keep coming up, is just how fast can the Augie football team score. We saw 33-second drive against Northern State, and then it was 22 seconds this week. So how does that go? Obviously, I know that you accredit that to good field position. You took advantage of that against the University of Mary, but what was behind that drive?
Well, we have explosive plays, and we've been an explosive team certainly the last season and going into this year. We have explosive players. We have guys that can get it out there and get it done, but again, it's part of the process, part of the system. We want to run the ball, and here's the thing, we ran it for 37 times and threw it for 34, so we still want to be a balanced football team. Some of those runs were explosives, and that's an important thing too, but when you start getting 8 in the box, 7 in the box, we have to be able to attack teams vertically, and that's where some of those plays come from. But football is a game of math, and you got to make sure you take advantage of the situations that you have, and I think that Trey orchestrated a great game. He's extremely efficient in his throwing, much better game than week one, very accurate in his throwing, and that really is the jettison of what we do. And the run game came with it. I thought our offensive line played an excellent football game.
Right, and hopefully that carries over against Crookston this weekend. You'll have them at home. Anything else that you're looking to do for that team?
No, we're going to be us. Our biggest opponent throughout this season is going to be Augustana. We need to, like I said earlier, week by week improve. We need to stay healthy. We got better depth than we've had, but you're never deep enough. And we've had some injuries in this game again, so some next guy up rally has to happen. But for Crookston, it's going to be the same thing as before. They're going to come hungry to play at this environment and be in this atmosphere. I expect a great crowd. We're going to have a lot of young people at this game, and it's an FCA game for us. So we hope that the various kids in our community are coming and enjoying that. But with that said, our biggest opponent is going to be us, and we need to live up to our expectations, and that's the challenge of this football team. But I look forward to that challenge, and I look forward to walking it with our guys.
All right, Coach. Well, thanks for your time this week, and good luck against Crookston. We've still got much more to go on Augustana All Access this week. Be sure to stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Augustana All Access. Recruiting at Augustana has everything to do with how an athlete connects with the coaches, the players, and the culture of a team. But they have to also consider the campus as a whole and the mission of the university. Current students and alumni would tell you Augie is a special place from the top to the bottom, both in academics and athletics. But we'll let them tell you that themselves.
Augustana is located in the heart of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which is nationally ranked as one of the best places for young people to live.
Welcome to the Huddle. This is where students come to get together for study groups, meet with professors, and just a great atmosphere for socializing and sometimes taking a break for a game of pool.
Our dining hall is open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and our meal option comes with 2 transfer meals a week, which are found at the Huddle. And if you have special dietary needs, no worries, we got you covered here.
Welcome to the back alley. One of the main student groups that uses this space is the Union Board of Governors. Coffee House brings in small artists or bands to perform in the back alley on Friday nights. And then we serve coffee, Italian sodas, and lattes. And the International Programs Office also puts on rendezvous on Friday nights, where international students are able to talk about their home cultures and share their experiences.
Behind us is the Edith Mortensen Center, which is home to our main stage theater and also our Black Box studio.
It's also home to the Student Success Center, Campus Life offices, and Student Street.
This is our main stage theater. It seats 280 people, and students of all majors are welcome to participate in the theater, whether that's being an actor working behind the scenes or being an audience member like me.
This is the chapel here on campus. We have 4 services a week, with that being Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The services during the week are at the 10 o'clock hour, so students don't have to worry about missing class. We have communion twice a week, and although it's a Lutheran campus, we also have Catholic Mass, and all students are welcome.
So this is the Mickelson Library. It's a great place to come study, and if you're ever trying to do some research, it has tons and tons of resources and great librarians to help you with all of your studies.
And during finals week, we have extended hours, snacks and coffee, and puppy therapy.
The Augustana student body is made up of 1,800 students from 38 countries and 30 states.
And one of those countries is Ghana, where I'm from.
So our humanities building is broken up into 3 different sections. We have our music department, a classroom department that's filled with English and journalism, philosophy, religion and classics, and modern foreign language and communications, as well as our art department. In our art department, we also have the ID Dalrymple Gallery. On average, we have about 7 shows a year. Let's go check it out.
Most students bring laptops to Augie, but every residence hall and every academic building has computers, and you could rent laptops from the library. So on the north side, we have the upperclassmen residence halls: East, Grand Scout, Stavik, and 2.
Welcome to the main gym of the Elman Center. This is home for both of our men's wrestling team as well as our women's volleyball team. Other events that happen in here for students include all of our intramurals, including basketball, volleyball, soccer, as well as random things like pickleball and club volleyball.
2 Saturday nights a month, the Elman puts on a late night event. These range from late night ice skating at the Shields Iceplex, to late night gladiators, to late night haunted house on Halloween. It's terrifying. Welcome to our swimming pool. This is home to our women's swim team and the Learn to Swim program, which is a great on-campus job if you're interested. It's also available for open swim if you want to get some laps in. And south of the Elman Center, we have Kirkby Over Stadium, Morstad Field, Karras Park, Bowdoin Fields, and the Huthard Tennis Center.
If you're not a student athlete, you can still stay involved in a lot of our sporting activities through being a fan, and that's one of the best parts about our Augustana experience, is that we are allowed to make an impact in a lot of games. Wow, pretty good.
This here is the Froyland Science Complex. As a whole, it's a $30 million renovation.
So there's a complete new addition to the building, as well as a renovation of everything that the Science Center used to be.
The departments that are housed in the complex include nursing, biology, chemistry, physics, math, and exercise science. So these are the classatories, which combine both the classroom learning as well as the laboratory experience to give more of a hands-on learning to understanding the sciences.
Undergraduate summer research is open to everybody, all students on campus, and I would strongly recommend that you do it for yourself.
This is the Center for Western Studies. If you're in our honors program known as Civitas, you might have a couple of classes in here.
This is the Madsen Center. As a government and economics major, I spend most of my time in here, and so do sociology, psychology, and business majors.
And don't forget about the education department. As a communication disorders and special education major, I spend all my time in the Madsen Center as well. And this is also where we have our ASL interpreting majors housed as well.
So let's map out what's next together, the possibilities, your potential in Augustana University. Join us and be a Viking at Augustana University.
It's a great day to be a Viking.
After the break, we'll take a look around and see how other Augustana teams fared in their matchups this past weekend. Welcome back to Augustana All Access. The volleyball team hosted the annual Augustana Invitational this past weekend, welcoming Chatham State, Southern Indiana, and conference foe Winona State. They started the weekend out strong, but maybe didn't end it the way they would have liked. Their first match of the weekend was against Chatham State. The Vikings would take the first set 25-18, and we would start the second set with some momentum. We'd see some good plays early on from the two Augie transfers, first from Hannah Justinson and then from UND transfer Courtney Place on this kill, helping the Vikings take a 7-1 lead. A little later, we'd see a nice set by Anna Sikora, followed by a big slam from Ashley Wilson, giving the Vikings a 5-point advantage. Sikora would have 15 assists in this set alone, but she'd use a little trickery. She goes up for the set and then fakes out the defenders. The Vikings win set 2, 25-19. Set 3 would be much of the same. Courtney Place would get this kill to go up by 3. Place would lead the Vikings in the morning matchup with 14, but junior Bailey Cook would get player of the game, improving her hitting percentage, earning 10 kills and 4 block assists. The match would close out with this kill from senior Danny Magis. The Vikings get their first sweep of the season after a 25-14 win in set 3.
Every game we play, we're excited about it, and when we get a win, it's even more exciting. But then the second that we focus on a new game, it's just a whole another day for us. And so I think just taking each point at a time is kind of our mentality, and just focusing on each point, each serve, each pass, and playing together as a team.
Talked after the match, and the girls mentioned, we got to do this better, we got to do that better, and that's really cool to hear as a coach, because for me, I almost had to remind them, hey, that's our first sweep of the year, and I don't care who you're playing, it's really hard to sweep a match. So a great start to the tournament. We were pretty excited to get the sweep in the morning and come back tonight.
And the Vikings would continue sweeping the rest of Friday and early Saturday. They'd win 9 straight sets for the weekend. Hannah Justinson was player of the game against Southern Indiana, and Anna Sikora would get the honor in the second match with Chatham State, both players notching their 4th double-double of the season. But the weekend didn't end there. The Vikings faced their first conference team of the season, number 13, Winona State. And although the match didn't affect the conference record, it was a good test before they step into the heat of the season with the other NSIC teams. Winona State took set 1 25-20. The second set was much closer as the Vikings matched Winona State point for point after tying at 13. A nice kill here by Courtney Place, who would tie it up again at 21, but the Warriors would prevail, extending and winning the set 29-27, and they'd go on to win the game 3-0, handing Augustana their first loss of the season. The volleyball team will officially start conference play this week, taking on Southwest Minnesota State on Thursday in Marshall, and then they'll be back at home hosting USF inside the Elman Center on Saturday, September 17th. Switching over to the soccer field, the Vikings are now 1-2-1 after the weekend. They settled for a tie against Wayne State after 2 overtimes. Junior Samantha Timkowitz was responsible for the only Vikings goal of the game just 19 minutes in. And then on Sunday, Augie would outshoot Nebraska Kearney 9-6, but they would not come back home with a win. Vikings fall to the Lopers 1-0, getting their second non-conference loss of the season. Well, from the field to the course, Augustana Golf opened their seasons. The women's team opened in Kansas, finishing 4th at the Central Region Fall Preview behind Central Oklahoma, Southwest Oklahoma State, and Arkansas Tech. They were led by Kaylee Troutman, who finished 6th overall with an 11 over par. The men's team tied for third in the season opener in their own tournament battle at the Falls. The team shot 50 over, falling behind Manitoba and St. Cloud State. Well, we're all caught up on scores for now, which means it's time for this week's answer to the Vikings Vote question of the week, and we'll have that for you when we come back.
Augustana All Access on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and Classic Import.
Your Vikings Vote question of the week: freshmen Claire Dom and Grace Bim are the first Vikings to score in their collegiate debut for Augustana soccer since what year? Your choices were 1989, 1998, 2000, and 2007. Twitter reveals that 35% of you thought the last time a newcomer scored in their first game was 2000, but the correct answer this week is actually 2007, so it's been close to 10 years since that last happened. We checked in with Claire Dom to see how her freshman season at Augustana is going, and here's what she had to say.
It's been amazing. The upperclassmen are just such a great group of girls, and our team is just so awesome, and we all love each other so much, and everybody is so hardworking and passionate about soccer, so it's really great to be a part of.
It's time now for the Augustana Player of the Week. Last week we gave the honor to Matt Heller, but this week it's going to senior Anna Sikora, who had 41 assists in back-to-back games during the Augustana Invitational.
When I'm setting someone, I know that they'll put the ball away for me, and I have trust in our passers to get the pass. So it's just a whole unit together, and it really works well.
Congrats to her, and good luck to her team as they start conference play this week. Thanks for joining us again. We'll see you next week for another episode of Augustana All Access.